Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going deep on ChatGPT.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fun.
we've got some excerpts from what is ChatGPT.pdf, and we're going to break down how it works, what it can do, and maybe even think a little bit about what it all means, for the future.
It's really something else. I mean, we're not just talking about another app here.
Yeah.
ChatGPT represents a real change, a real leap forward in how we interact with technology.
So let's start with the basics, I guess.
Sure.
The source material calls ChatGPT an AI-powered chatbot created by OpenAI.
Right.
Could you maybe unpack that a little bit?
Yeah.
What makes it different from like those chatbots you see on websites?
Right. So those chatbots, they usually rely on like pre-programmed responses, right? So they can only handle a pretty limited range of queries. ChatGPT, on the other hand, it uses this technology called machine learning to understand and then generate human-like text. It's designed to have natural conversations, dynamic conversations, and to respond to a much broader range of prompts and questions.
Yeah, this source highlights its remarkable proficiency in generating text. What makes it so good?
It all comes down to the data, the vast amount of data that it's trained on, and the way it learns from that data. So imagine feeding a computer system like billions of words from books, articles, websites, even social media conversations.
Wow.
That's basically what ChatGPT has absorbed through a process called deep learning. It analyzes this data, identifies patterns, and learns the structure of language, like the intricate structure of language.
Deep learning sounds pretty intense.
It
Is
is.
that related to the artificial neural networks that they talk about in the source?
Yeah, exactly. Think of deep learning as like the engine behind ChatGPT's abilities. It uses these artificial neural networks, which are really complex computer systems inspired by the structure of the human brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and these networks have layers upon layers of these interconnected nodes that process information, much like neurons do in our brains.
Okay.
And each layer adds another level of complexity, allowing the system to understand and generate increasingly nuanced language.
So it's learning kind of like how our brains process information.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And just like we learn and refine our communication skills through experience, ChatGPT is constantly being refined through this process called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF.
RLHF.
Yeah.
RLHF.
Can you explain how that works? It sounds like humans are actually involved in shaping how this thing learns.
Yeah, they are. That's right. Even with all that data, AI systems can sometimes produce outputs that are just way off or even inappropriate.
Hmm.
So to make sure ChatGPT's responses are safe, accurate, and actually sound human-like, they have humans review and rate its outputs.
Yeah.
ChatGPT then uses this feedback to adjust its algorithms and get better over time.
So it's a constant cycle of learning and refinement with human feedback playing a key role.
Exactly. And that human element is really important for making sure that ChatGPT is not just intelligent, but also responsible and aligned with human values.
This is already a lot to absorb, and we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
What can ChatGPT actually do with all of this learning? The source lists a bunch of different potential applications. Yeah, we're really just starting to explore the possibilities, but even now they're pretty remarkable. One of the most obvious ones is content creation. ChatGPT can help write articles, social media posts, marketing copy, even whole websites.
So it's like having a really versatile writing assistant.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. But it goes beyond just writing. Imagine needing to analyze a complex research paper or a huge data set. ChatGPT can help with that too. It can summarize key findings, identify trends, and even translate languages with really impressive fluency.
That's incredible. It's like having a research assistant, a data analyst, and a translator all in one.
Exactly. And those are just a few examples. ChatGPT's ability to understand and process language opens up possibilities in fields like education, customer service, entertainment, even healthcare.
I'm already starting to see how this could change the way we work and interact with information.
Yeah.
It's both really exciting and a little bit daunting, isn't it?
It certainly is. ChatGPT is a powerful tool, and it's really important that we understand both its potential and its limitations as we move forward.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
Let's maybe take a minute to think about what we've learned so far. What are some of the key takeaways you'd like listeners to keep in mind?
I think what's fascinating is that we've seen how ChatGPT learns and the depth of its capabilities, but it's important to remember that it's a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about the ethical considerations and potential risks associated with this technology, as well as some real-world examples of how ChatGPT is being used today. But I think we'll save that for the next part of our deep dive. So we've been talking about the power of ChatGPT and like all these possibilities it unlocks.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away, let's talk about some real-world uses. The source material mentions content creation as a big one.
Oh, yeah. It's being used in so many ways already. Businesses are using it to come up with marketing materials, to write website copy, even to create social media posts.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Think about how much time and effort that could save, freeing up human creativity for more strategic things.
That makes a lot of sense. But could it also be used for more complex writing, like articles or even books?
Absolutely. There are already people using ChatGPT to draft articles, scripts, even poetry.
Wow.
It's important to remember that it's a tool, not a replacement, for human writers. The real magic happens when you combine human creativity with AI
This
capabilities.
is more about collaboration than competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of ChatGPT as like a partner that can help you when you have writer's block, to generate new ideas and even to refine your writing style. It can analyze text for like clarity and conciseness and tone, so it can help you become a better communicator.
That's really fascinating. The source also mentions programming assistance as a key use case. Can
Right.
you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so imagine you're a programmer and you're working on this really tricky piece of code. ChatGPT can actually analyze that code, identify potential errors, and even suggest solutions.
Wow, so it's like having another programmer looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, like a really experienced programmer offering guidance and support.
So it's not just about writing. It's about understanding and manipulating complex systems like code.
Exactly. ChatGPT's ability to process and analyze information makes it really valuable for anyone who works with data, whether that's code or financial reports or scientific research papers.
Speaking of research, the source mentions that ChatGPT can help summarize really complex academic papers.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
Imagine having to read hundreds of pages of really dense academic writing just to pull out the key findings.
Yeah, no thanks.
ChatGPT can do that for you really quickly and efficiently. It can identify the main arguments, summarize the evidence, and even highlight areas where you could do further research.
That would save researchers so much time.
Yeah, definitely.
What about data analysis? Can ChatGPT help with that too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can analyze huge data sets, identify trends, and even make predictions based on the data.
That sounds pretty useful.
This could be super valuable in fields like finance, marketing, healthcare, where those data-driven decisions are so important.
The source also talked about ChatGPT's ability to translate languages.
Uh-huh.
Could this be like a game changer for global communication?
Absolutely. ChatGPT can translate text between lots of different languages with remarkable accuracy and fluency. Just imagine breaking down language barriers, making international business easier, even fostering cultural exchange.
It seems like ChatGPT could impact so many parts of our lives.
It really does.
But with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah, that's a really important point. As with any powerful technology, there are risks and ethical things to think about. We need to be aware of those. It's crucial that we develop and use this technology responsibly, making sure there's transparency, fairness, and accountability.
Those are really wise words. So we've gone over some of the real-world uses of ChatGPT, from content creation to programming assistance to data analysis. What's next for this technology? Like, where do you see it heading in the future? We've talked about what ChatGPT can do now, but what about the future? Where do you see this going in the next few years?
Yeah, it's tough to say for sure, but these technologies are definitely going to keep evolving really quickly. I think we can expect to see even more sophisticated language models, capable of even more complex tasks and nuanced interactions.
The source material mentions like a follow-up tutorial that goes into the technical details of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What kind of information would that cover?
Right. It would probably dive deeper into how ChatGPT is structured, exploring concepts like transformers, attention mechanisms, and the whole training process. It'd be great for anyone who wants to understand, the nuts and bolts of how these models work.
It sounds like pretty advanced stuff. Is that something the average person needs to understand to use ChatGPT?
Not really. You don't need to be a computer scientist to use these tools. Just like you don't need to know how a car engine works to drive. You can use ChatGPT without getting into the code.
So the focus should be more on understanding what it can do and how to use it responsibly.
Exactly. Like, think about the internet. Most people don't know the technical details of how it works, but they know how to use it to find information, connect with people, and get things done.
That's a good analogy. So for our listeners who are interested in trying ChatGPT out, what would you recommend as a first step?
Just start playing around with it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of platforms online where you can try ChatGPT. Give it different prompts, ask it questions, and see what it comes up with. You'll get a feel for its strengths and limitations pretty quickly.
And remember, it's not just about what it can do, but how we can use it responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. This technology brings up important questions about authorship bias and how it might affect different professions. We need to talk about these things as AI language models become a bigger part of our lives.
Well said. This has been a really interesting look into the world of ChatGPT. We've covered a lot from the basics to the potential uses and even some of the ethical considerations.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
It's clear that this technology has the power to really change so many parts of our lives, from how we work to how we communicate to even how we learn.
It really is remarkable.
It's exciting and a little scary to think about all the possibilities. What's the one thing you want our listeners to remember about ChatGPT and the future of AI?
I think the most important thing is that this is just the start. AI language models are changing all the time, and we're just scratching the surface of what they can do. The key is to stay curious, stay informed, and be a part of the conversation about how we want to shape the future of this incredible technology.
That's a perfect note to end on. So for our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the future of AI is really up to us.